for Zerg to throw gas-oriented units at an opponent, because Zerg can generally get way more expansions started than an opponent. Notice how I said expansions started, not expansions fully up and running and operational. But it's really easy to get 4 or 5 hatcheries at 4 or 5 bases as Zerg. It'll take a long time to saturate the minerals, but it's super fast to get the gas. So we see a lot of Zerg players doing that in the original Starcraft. Excuse me, I drooled again. See a lot of players doing that in the original Starcraft. And in Starcraft 2, you'll see players expand twice as Zerg, take both geysers, and get those up and running first. Because, hell, if you have like 20 Mutalisks, sure, it's like 2,000, 2,000. And if your opponent comes out with like a 2,000, 1,000 army, it's fine, because you have that gas to spare. Remember, StarCraft is not necessarily about efficiency. It's about, winning all these battles until you eventually just pull a huge lead. And sometimes that means throwing a more expensive army at them. And for Zerg, gas is your resource of choice. So let me go ahead and pop out of this game really fast here. So just to review, he gets the link speed really fast, and then he follows it up by getting lots of drones and expanding and still getting lots of drones, and then emphasizing Mutalisks while making a roach warren for the possibility of pooping out some roaches in a little bit. He's still going to make a good amount of Zerglings whenever he does choose to make these roaches, because the Zerglings can absorb huge amounts of damage from the Thor. I mean, the Thor does 60 damage a shot, and the Zergling has 35 damage, so what, 25 of that is in the overkill? Huge, huge waste of money. Don't want to do anything like that. So let us look at a map that is traditionally awful for Zerg. I bet you know what it is. Let's see. Oh, load it up for me, StarCraft 2 beta. By the way, for any of you who didn't know, you can just drag the replay onto StarCraft 2 beta, and it just pops right up. It's really easy way to load up replays. Is actually preferable in my eyes to, being online where people can pester you and all that horribleness. Incineration Zone. Oh my god, the hate that this map gets from, people including me. So, this is the sort of map where Zerg hates it because, oh god, everything is so bad. So I'm going to do this. Of course, everyone sees me do this a lot. Look at the attack distances. And bam, we're already there. From nat to nat, it's like 20 seconds. Outrageously short attack paths. Terran also has the ability to get this expansion up kind of easily. This is a relatively small choke. You can't really fit a big army for Zerg through this tiny entrance, so it makes it inconvenient to be aggressive as Zerg. But you know what? You can fit everywhere on this map? Tanks. You can put a tank here, you can put a tank here and shoot up here. Hell, you can put a tank here. Why not? You can put a tank anywhere. And you have this third base here that's off to the side, and really, other than this third base, what the hell else are you going to take? There's Terran's third base, alright, but then there's this gold expansion. Where's the gold expansion located? In an area that's tankable. You put a tank here, and goodbye expansion. No more expo for you. And there's this one backdoor base that is so out of the way for everyone. I really think that this is probably going to be pretty key as players get better and better at StarCraft 2, that backdoor one. But either way, Sen is going to be doing a very similar build. Very similar, identical. He's going to be doing the identical build from last game. Here comes the Extractor. Extractor, obviously good. We want to get that Zergling speed up. Seems like a little bit funky of a timing to get an Extractor that early and to click outside the window that often. But of course, I'm the king of misclicks, so I'll happily pop right back in here. And I did want to wait until we had plenty of people in the stream. So while there are many streamers, I shall actually pop back to the window. This is intentional, me clicking here this time. I wanted to... Everything's just going so well today. I wanted to state that I'll be playing in a show match against the one and only Nicholas Tasteless Plot. People got a good kick out of us sparring in the HGH tournament. So, of course, HD and Husky invited us to partake in a show match. So just wanted to get the hype train going. Woo, woo. All right. Getting in a show match. So for any of you who are interested in tuning into that, tune into that. And there will also be, for any of you who are concerned, what will I do during the beta downtime? Don't worry, Day 9 will take care of everything. I have all sorts of good stuff planned. So get ready for maximum video content action going on during that period of time. So just to keep you updated. Yeah, it's super, super good stuff. So let's go ahead and return back to the game, to Sen's awesomeness. Here is his spawning pool that is making. And here is I waited a long time to mention this because it's not that this doesn't suck, this absolutely does. And I figured I would wait till now so that way you could see it in action. Watch this. As you get to your opponent's front door, what happens? He can almost always kill this Overlord. Like, almost always. In fact, I am very passive with my Overlords on this map. I mean, Sen is popping up here to this high ground ridge, but look at the problem with your opponent's high ground ridge. And this is pretty necessary for Sen. He needs to poke in here. Excuse me, sorry, the Chipotle burrito's having a little bit of an argument with my stomach, but that's okay, I will win. I will suppress him with green tea. So, Sen really does want to poke in here, see what's up. Is there a refinery down? Is there not? Is there an orbital command coming? And here comes the death of an Overlord. A very famous play. Poor Overlord. He was actually very well liked, but he got shot to death. I think that's how the play went, something like that. Meanwhile, Sen doing the exact same thing. We're just going to point out the sameness of what he's doing and look a little bit more at Demuzzle in this game. The same basic thing going on. Getting this queen, getting Zergling speed. When the queen pops, 100 gas will be mined. He will be able to start this layer. And I will open up the resource tab because I know that occasionally it's a little bit difficult to see those numbers in the top right. And look at Demuslim. Oh, very little one-esque moving this barracks up because why not kill off this Overlord? You know, you can. And there's just almost nothing that Zerg can do about this. Where is Zerg going to run? If Zerg runs to the left, there's a Marine there. If he runs down, the Marine just waltzes down here. Even if he runs up this way, there's always short walk paths for that Overlord. So I always am super passive with my first Overlord. Often I don't even scout directly into his main. I'll actually take this path as one of my starting paths and try to poke up here to get as much vision as I can with this destructible rock protecting me. But again, the queen is done, the hatch is going up. And for any of you who don't like doing one hatch styles, for any of you who prefer to go 14 hatch or 14 pool 16 hatch, the same basic principles are the same. I get a bunch of Mutalisks reasonably quickly if I do an early expand. I get my Zergling speed first, because all those threats that were there in these games that we're seeing are there when we early expand as well. So Zergling speed absolutely helps with those. And then we get a decent number of Mutalisks, get some map control, and expand a bunch. Totally reasonable. And then in this, we saw it more look like Mutalisks, then a bunch of drones, and expanding. And if you early expand, you go make a bunch of drones, and then get the Spire, and then do some expanding. Again, rearrangement. So important that we think about rearrangement of key components of our builds. So there is the hatchery going down now, and there's so many little things that Sen does that are absolutely brilliant. I would like to state that for the record in the unit production tab, there is one Zergling on this map when Zergling speed is done. Super, super important, and where is it? It's right there. And of course, he did see the fast gas coming, and oh no, there's a threat of units coming. Oh my god, and look, he sees that there's this Hellion coming, and of course he gets the Zerglings out right in time. In the meantime, he built up plenty of drones, feeling very good in the drone front. And, oops, I'm just going to rewind that so everyone can see how good Speedlings are against Hellions. So here it is coming right up. Here's the Hellion, going to make it right through here, and Zerglings, see you later, Hellion. Of course, Demuslim tries to micro, but it's very hard to micro when you're crashing into a wall, and it's also just very hard to micro against speed Zerglings. Now, I just want you to look at the minimap. Look at this Overlord spread already that Sen has. Notice how he really only has just gotten units that can do something, but he has a nice big spread. And he sees that there's this tech lab here, so he is going to be making another queen at some point. But you don't need to rush to get a second queen out. You absolutely don't need to cut your layer timing to get a queen out very quickly. In fact, you can just get this Spire up. Now, I will state for the record, I've been doing an almost identical style to Sen on this map. And actually, I've liked it so much, I've actually begun doing it on Kulas Ravine as well. And I was feeling all fancy and stuff, but it is so eye-opening to see how few units Sen's actually getting. Because what I would do is I would first get like 6 to 8 Zerglings, and I'd even actually get a Spine Crawler on Incineration Zone. Because the fear of the map, the trends of the map got in my head, and I was like, oh my god, if the rush distance is so short, blah blah blah, what if he, attacks me? And in some games, that was necessary. If he went for a very fast Hellion push, it was necessary. And then the next game, a few games I was practicing it, I was dealing with these super insane Reapering player. So of course then I also got a bunch of Zerglings with speed before the drones. But the problem is I let that be my default mindset. I didn't think as thoroughly as I should have been in the game. and I just default got 6 Lings with speed and then got the Spine Crawler. But what we're seeing is that here, Sen is getting not that many Zerglings at all at the start and skipping the Spine Crawler because he sees his opponent is just getting a barracks with no add-on. Brilliant, excellent, unbelievable play here by Sen. And notice that it frees up enough money for him to throw down an expansion very quickly. That is just great. Oh, the fact that he cut all that money out. And this is the one thing that makes a good player really, 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 really good, is the player who knows where to cut little bits of money that add up over time to give you a new expansion. Oh my god, that feels crazy. I mean, pretend for a moment. Let's actually back up. Let's look at this situation. Let's back up even more.